Welcome, Sens Talk.
Here comes Batherson, a pass across to the stars. He bats it in. Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Triple Drake is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. See you later. Go Sens, go.
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host tonight. Your Ottawa Senators took on the Montreal Canadiens in their first game in 2 weeks. That's right. The last couple of weeks, the Four Nations tournament has been going on. Your boys, the Canadiens, baby. The Canadiens took care of business. The true Canadiens, not the Montreal Canadiens. Screw that NHL team. But the Canadiens, from province to province, from Quebec to BC, from Ontario to the territories, the Canadiens took care of business and took down the 11th province, the United States of America, in overtime. Connor McDavid, we love you. So coming off of that, we are, for us as fans, going from that high, again, great competition. This is still best of the best. But literally going from, the NHL's like the best players in the world, now from that to the Four Nations, which is literally all the best players against one another, back to this, you do tell the difference, and I can only think that the players probably feel that difference too. And you can tell that the players tonight certainly felt a little off today, whether they were in the tournament or not, because my goodness, what a sludge fest that was. But before we get into the game recap, I want to say thank you to all of you for nominating us again for 4 Faces Awards at this year's Faces Magazine award show in 2025. You know what? Again, it's always an honor to be nominated for awards. We won in the last 2 years. We've won 3 awards. We're back-to-back champions for Best YouTube Channel in Ottawa. Right there. I only got one of the plaques up. I got a couple more over there, hanging over there. Probably should put them up, but didn't want to clutter the space. But anyways, and we also are looking to defend our best blog title. So looking to go back-to-back for best blog, looking to win 3 in a row for best YouTube channel. We're also up for best sports reporter. It will be under my name, Brandon Plant, and best sports podcast. So go to facesmag.ca/vote to vote for your favorite YouTube channel, blog, sports reporter, and of course, sports podcast today. So again, thank you to all of you for voting for us and nominating us. It's always just an honor to be nominated, but to win is even that much more of an honor. So thank you again for all your support. And again, regardless if we win or not, I didn't expect to win 1 award. We've won 3 already in the last couple of years. So again, appreciate all your support, and let's see what happens. Voting is open until March 15th, I believe. So get your votes in. You can vote for all of those categories once a day. So vote for us 4 times a day, baby. I know I will be doing so. I'm sure you will be doing so as well. So again, thank you to all of you who nominated us. So let's get back into the game. So going to this game, Ottawa is dealing with probably their most injury-depleted lineup in quite some time. Firstly, Brady Tkachuk did not play today. That's one of the very rare times I've ever said that in Sens Talk history. He has played every single game in his NHL career other than a handful, okay? He's missed less than 5 games in his NHL career going into this one. And look, he just played 4 games in the last 11 days. He was playing all out there, with the United States, of course. We saw it. He was unreal. Dominating. He, in my opinion now, is certainly the face of USA hockey and put himself on the map for a lot of casuals and non-hockey fans, which is great for the Ottawa Senators too, of course. But, I think Brady was dealing with an injury anyways, and he also was dealing with an illness with USA Hockey before that championship game. So he was dealing with something anyways, played through it in that championship game. So again, I'm not too upset that he missed 1 game, because again, this guy has played literally every game he's been, called upon to play, other than like 4 or 5, okay, going into this game. So again, I think out of everyone on the team, this guy deserves a bit of a break when it comes to the ridicule about it. However, I'm not going to just say that there's no ridicule to be had. If he misses the next game on Wednesday against the Jets, yeah, that's not great, because the Ottawa Senators are the priority. I'm probably saying this as a biased Canadian fan. If he played for Canada, maybe I'd feel differently. I don't think so, though, because at the end of the day, we can't be missing our captain for the stretch drive when we are literally in a 3-way tie right now, almost a 4-way tie if Boston wins tonight for, that wild card spot. So, again, one game, all right. He's dealing with something. He might be feeling a little off. Whatever. Give him the night off. He's not the only player coming back from the tournament to have the night off tonight either. But again, at least me, I cannot trust this coaching staff and organization when they say day to day and whatnot. That's what they're apparently saying about it. Freeman's saying that it's not a long-term thing. It's a day-to-day type of injury. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But again, I will be very pissed off if Brady Tkachuk misses the game on Wednesday against the Jets, purely because if this is something that was significant enough to make him miss a few games for his NHL club, the club that's paying him like $100,000 a game or so, tens of millions of dollars on this contract, and more so, and most importantly, he's the captain. He's the face of the franchise. Again, I get it. You're there at the Four Nations. You want to win it for your country. I have a lot of respect for that. But at the end of the day, you can't jeopardize your team. And I don't think Tkachuk would do that. So again, I'm very hopeful he will be back on Wednesday. But again, I feel a little nervous, a little bit of anxiety, because again, this coaching staff likes to, let's say they like to throw around white lies. You know what I mean? Maybe he will be back day to day, but that could be in multiple days. It could be in the next few games. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below about that. That was a furious debate on Sens Twitter today. Now, Josh Norris and Shane Pinto also missed today's game. They remain out. And that's kind of going back to my point about Tkachuk and whether we can trust the coaching staff or not. I don't know, to be honest, because they said that Pinto was close 2.5 weeks ago. Still not back. Norris, it's good that he's not on the LTIR, which means that hopefully he'll be back soon. But again, he's also out. The Grey Goat, though, no, Gregor returns, which is great to see. We love the Grey Goat. Didn't really notice him today, to be honest with you, but it's great to see that, and especially because Ottawa desperately needed him. Ottawa today played 11-7, just like the last couple of games in Florida. And this is purely because they don't have cap space. A lot of people are asking, well, Stephen Halliday, he practiced with the team the other day. Didn't get the official call-up, though. He should, by the way. He's never played an NHL game. He's been dominating. I think he still needs more time in Belleville to really continue to dominate down there and develop his offensive skills. A guy like Osipchuk comes to mind for that as well. I think Osipchuk's been fine here in the NHL, but I think he has a lot more offense to give, and more time in Belleville would allow him to develop that side of his game. But going back to Stephen Halliday, I mean, we need scoring. We need scoring. He can do it. Crookshank as well. But you can't call him up. You just can't. With Cousins on the LTIR, we still don't have enough cap space. So, don't know what happens. You got a big log jam with Manapalo, Hamnick, and, of course, JBD as well. JBD is still not back, but we'll have to see what happens with that. I have a trade video coming out on Monday. I'll probably touch on that a little bit more on that one, but definitely something to keep an eye on. But again, we're in a really tough spot with the cap, and that's why, if you're wondering why we haven't called anyone up, well, frankly, we literally cannot. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, tonight, Ottawa started Linus Ullmark, while Sam Montembeault, fresh off a gold medal with Team Canada as the third string, starts for the Canadiens. Now, the Sens going to this game are tied with the Red Wings for first in the wild card race, in the wild card position, with 62 points in 56 games. Detroit today lost in comeback style because Minnesota came back down 3-1 to beat them in overtime. So, look, Ottawa, they still control their fate, even though, yes, it's tough. It's a 3-way tie. Could be a 4-way tie by the time you're watching this. Columbus won today. Boston might win. So, again, 4-way tie for, the wild card at 62 points. Not great. However, we still have all of the control of the situation. The Sens have the easiest schedule for the rest of the year in terms of winning percentage of the opponents we're facing, and our last 9 out of 10 games are at home as well. There's no excuses, especially if we bring in a forward at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline. No excuses. If this team misses the playoffs, the season is an absolute failure. End of story. In my opinion, this team should be aspiring for more than just playoffs. We should make a push in the playoffs. This is a team with a hell of a lot of skill. But again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We got to get there first. So, again, we control our own fate, but we got to win the game. And let's just say that was not going our way tonight, as just a few minutes into the first period of play, the Montreal Canadiens strike first. A careless pass, a disgusting, careless play by Drake Batherson. He just floats it right in the slot, right to, of course, as Brendan Gallagher, a true Senator fan favorite. And the Canadiens strike first to make it 1-0 Montreal. And then 2 minutes later, oh boy, 2-0 Montreal. Cole Caulfield on a huge rebound there, off the shot from the point, off Sanderson's leg, right over to Caulfield. That's just a rough bounce. I don't know what you want Allmark to do there. It's quite literally impossible for Allmark to do anything there. That's just an unfortunate bounce. But again, 2 goals in 5 minutes. You need better. And with about 7-8 minutes left in the first period of play, the Canadiens lead in shots 7-2. They are certainly the better team so far. But Matthew Highmore, this guy's a little ball of energy, draws a power play, his 6 in the last 17 games, drawn penalties. So he gets the boys onto the power play, and then moments later, Jake the Snake, fresh off a goal in that championship game for Team USA, keeps it going, rips one top shelf to cut the lead to 1. Jake the Snake Sanderson, welcome back Ottawa, welcome back Jake the Snake, and Ottawa is down by 1. He rips it past the screen. Montembeault Godet was out front, nice screen there by him, by the hockey god, and Ottawa off the power play goal draws to within 1. Now, Jake Sanderson as well has been unreal as of late. He's got 4 goals in his last 7 games. So great to see Sanderson really picking it up offensively. We know he's an elite defender, and we know that he has a lot more offense to give, and it's finally coming, baby. It's finally given. And, again, with Jake the Snake, I mean, he deserves way more respect. And I think he's starting to get that, especially after, a really strong performance there at the Four Nations tournament against the best in the world. And again, that's a stacked blue line for the USA. So a hell of a compliment for him. So he's going to start getting more recognition as time progresses, as we get to the Olympics. But again, yeah, tough goal there against to give the Canadiens the 2-0 lead. Not really Sanderson's fault, but again, he got a minus there, and then bang, gets it right back. I guess not technically because it's a power play goal, but nonetheless, gets it back. They cut the lead to within 1, and then literally a mere minute later, Tim Stützle, how do you do? Timmy Stu, bang, tie game, shot out of a cannon, off the breakaway goal for Timothy Stützle, and the Senators suddenly, out of nowhere, tied up at 2 apiece. Mike Batherson with a bad turnover, and Tim Stützle turns on the Jets and does the rest as he extends his point streak to 9 straight games. That ties a career high for the German stud. He got an assist as well, by the way, on that Sanderson goal. So 2 points in a matter of minutes for Tim Stützle, who was frankly the only player tonight who I can say actually played well. Everyone else, not so much. And we'll talk about that in the game notes as the game continues. Things are looking up for your Ottawa Senators. As I mentioned, the Habs, before Highmore drew that penalty, were out shooting the Senators by 7-2 in the shots. But after that, it was all Ottawa, 2 goals, 6 more shots. They led in shots like that. But unfortunately, like that, the Canadiens would take the lead right back. Patrick Laine rips a one-timer after a dumb penalty by Travis Hamonic, and the Canadiens would go into the locker room after 20 minutes of play with the 1-goal lead at a 3-2 score. Laine rips one on the power play off a clean face-off loss. So rough first period. There's no ifs or doubts about that. Batherson, I mean, honestly, we'll talk about him in the game notes. I mean, just not a great game for him at all. I don't care if he got a point tonight. But what I will say is I like the fact that we knew it was going to be a slugfest. We knew it was going to be a tough game. I like the fact that the boys fought back. They dug deep, drew a penalty, and then right away, just like that, got right back into the game and forced a tie. Now, of course, doesn't really matter because they gave up that tie right away on a dumb, undisciplined penalty, and then, of course, on that penalty kill. But again, you got to give the team credit where credit is due. It was a tough hole to, be in early on after 2 weeks off. So kudos to them for finding a way to at least tie it up. But that's all the positives I can say about this team. They had 3 minutes where I was like, all right, good. This team is playing like, frankly, how they should be playing with what's on the line right now and what's at stake. So, tough end to the period, but I had some hope going to the second period of play. Although, look, I mean, Ottawa, when trailing going to the second period of play, is 3-14-2 this year. Well, the Canadiens in 11 games have won 8 of those. And we go to the second period of play, not even 5 minutes in, all my hope is gone just like that. Huge rebound from Allmark right to Josh Anderson, who puts it home on the rebound. They give the Canadiens the 2-goal lead right back to make it 4-2. Les Habitants. Zach Tkachuk with a horrible turnover along the blue line. Just a rough play there for the Sens rookie. The Canadiens get a huge goal as they shift all the momentum right back their way, going to the second period of play as they lead by 2. And that would just continue on for the remainder of the second period of play with about 8 minutes left in the period. Drake Batherson. Drake Batherson. You know, I'm a Drake Batherson truther. I love Drake Batherson. I think he has probably one of the more valuable contracts in the NHL. Frankly, I was saying, you know, before the last couple of months where he's really gone, you know, dry offensively, I thought he should have got some looks for the Four Nations tournament. And he was doing very well when, you know, the roster was being configured. So, I'm a big Batherson truther, but tonight was maybe his worst game as an Ottawa Senator, honestly. I honestly think that. Batherson tonight was directly responsible for 2 goals, and again he does so here. He fails to pick up the pass through the middle. Slavkovsky takes full advantage and scores to extend the Canadiens' lead to 3 to make it 5-2. As Allmark is swapped for Forsberg. Not a great night for Allmark too, by the way. Batherson and Allmark were big disappointments tonight for the Ottawa Senators. In a game where, look, you're without Norris, you're without Pinto, you're without Tkachuk. You're missing 3 out of your top 6, top 9 guys, 3 out of your core guys. So the guys that are remaining in the lineup, the core guys like Batherson, like Stützle, like Allmark, like Sanderson, we need you to step up. Sanderson and Stützle certainly did. Allmark and Batherson, not so much. And especially Drake Batherson, just undisciplined and frankly lazy play, and it cost the Ottawa Senators twice. So we go to the third period of play. The Canadiens lead by 3, and that's how the score will hold as the Canadiens take down the Ottawa Senators 5-2. Ottawa would lead in shots 26-25 when it was all said and done. The only exciting thing that happened in the third period of play was a nice little tilt there between Slavkovsky, who wants to be Brady Tkachuk. Good luck, buddy. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're a solid player, but there's only one Brady Tkachuk, and really Greg. I thought that was a pretty good tilt because Slavkovsky, I think he's a solid player, good potential, great frame. He's a huge guy. He's a horse. Really Greg, pest, no doubt, not a horse. So good on really Greg for hanging in there on that tilt and just trying to get something going there after a big hit as well. So rough night all around for Ottawa. Just a few positive notes, I guess. Tim Stützle looked good. 9-point streak, 2 points again tonight for him. Again, 9 points in a row for him. Ties a career high. While Jake Sanderson also looked good. Of course, 4 goals in his last 7 games. Cole Reinhardt did take a stupid penalty, but had 6 hits today in around 10 minutes of ice time, which is pretty impressive. In a short amount of time on ice, he tried to make an impact, which, look, I don't really think he had the greatest game, but at least he's trying. You can't say the same for a lot of the other guys out there tonight. And then Batherson had an assist, but 2 goals against. Again, I'm not going to harp on Batherson for hours here, but I expect more from Batherson, which is why I'm really shocked with the lazy type of play today. Batherson, I think, is a fantastic player, but tonight was certainly a rough one, and that happens. And I expect a big game for Batherson on Wednesday. He's going to be hungry to bounce back in a big way and to get in the good graces of the fan base and the coaching staff. Now, the only reason he wasn't benched today is because we only had 11 forwards. If, we had a full lineup, he's benched. No doubt about it. And deservingly so, and I think he would agree with that. Now, Manapalo and Hamnick, that's going to be an interesting one on Wednesday when hopefully Tkachuk is back. Who draws out of the lineup? In my opinion, it has to be Travis Hamnick. He's fine as a 7th defenseman. He's good for the locker room, but you're not scratching Tyler Clevin. I want to say, obviously, too, you're not going to scratch Nicholas Manapalo. He just turned heads at the, Four Nations tournament. He was fantastic at best-on-best competition, and he's beat out Hamnick, no doubt about it, here in Ottawa as well. He's been the better defender. He deserves that extended look, and frankly, that position over Travis Hamnick. So we'll see what happens with that. Manapalo tonight had a block and a hit. Well, Hamnick had a takeaway, so that was nice for him, I guess. But again, neither of them stood out in any way, good or bad. Now, with that, Ottawa has now lost 4 straight games. If the Sens miss the playoffs, getting 0 out of 8 points in 4 games versus Buffalo and Montreal so far this year, it's just not good. and it's going to be something we look back on, and frankly, I might even cry over it, because that's just inexcusable, and it reminds me of the last couple of years where we had brutal losses to like Chicago and San Jose and Anaheim and whatnot, and we missed the playoffs by like 4 to 6 points. So that's literally the season right there, potentially. So again, we have the easiest schedule remaining in the National Hockey League. We have 9 out of our last 10 games of the year at home. Lots of opportunities to take full reign of the situation and put ourselves in that playoff spot. But again, we have to do it. And again, those losses are certainly good at staying if we don't find a way to make the playoffs this year. Now, as I already kind of said, I have a special video planned for Monday. It's going to be a trade deadline video. Going to take a look at some forwards Ottawa could take a look at. Let me know who you think in the comment section down below. Steve Staios, the Sens GM, should be taking a look at for a trade. So yeah, with that, video on Monday for the trade deadline. Video again on Wednesday for the recap after the Jets game. And as well, facesmag.ca/vote to vote for us for the Faces Magazine Awards of 2025. We're up again for Best Blog, Best Sports Podcast, Best Sports Reporter, and of course, Best YouTube Channel. Now with that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Go Sens, go.